So I am back with another film review. I'm slowly pushing myself into the habit of talking about films that you may not have seen yourself, you may not even be aware of, and I'm just going to keep doing these little gem, as I would like to call them, movie reviews on the YouTube and possibly my TikTok channel. I have set a playlist up on my YouTube channel for reviews. So if you just want to sit and watch the review videos, check out the channel, click on the reviews on there. It's not just new films, it's films like Waterworld, the Ulysses Cut, and various bits and pieces. However, I'm not here today to talk about Waterworld or science fiction. I'm here to talk about a film that I watched last night. Not only was the film really interesting, but the production behind it is just fascinating. And it is a film called Shuttlecock, directed by Andrew Piddington, based on a book by Graham Swift, I believe the author is. It's a book I've not read. It's a book I'm not too familiar with. I tend to watch more movies than I do, in fact, read books. But I do have a bookshelf behind me, and there's a lot of books on there that are unread. So I do need to start making some more time to read books. I'm never going to catch up on all the films I want to watch, but I'm going to give it a go. And one of those films was Shuttlecock. Now, where do I start with Shuttlecock? Firstly, if you want to watch it, buy it or rent it, you can do that on Amazon Prime Video, some people call it. I will put the purchase links or the rental links in the show notes on this video. So I'll probably maybe put it on the screen at the end, but if you want the notes, you can cut and paste it from the show description. So last night I thought I'm going to sit down and I'm going to watch Shuttlecock. Now, Shuttlecock is you will work out by the end of this video why I'm doing pauses, because this film has such a wonderfully intricate and fascinating production history that it's kind of tricky to put into words straight off the bat. So if you're watching this video going, why is he pausing? You'll kind of work it out by the end of the video. So let me take you into the storyline of Shuttlecock first. So Shuttlecock stars Alan Bates, who I've seen a few of his films, but for me it's Whistle Down the Wind, where he's found in a barn and these children think he's Jesus. It's an absolutely stunning film if you've not seen it. Wonderfully British. I adore the film. I think it was Lancashire, I think it was shot in as well. I remember my aunt telling me that she bunked off school one day with a bunch of kids so they could go see the filming of Whistle Down the Wind. So every time I see Whistle Down the Wind, which I do have the DVD downstairs, I do think back to my aunt, who sadly passed away a couple of years ago. But I have such a fondness for that film. It's absolutely amazing. And that sort of made me think Alan Bates is an actor I want to watch. So when I heard and saw that Shuttlecock was coming out starring Alan Bates, now we lost Alan Bates in 2003, so he's been gone over 20 years now. But this film has just come out in the past few years. I'm like, I want to watch it. I'm fascinated by watching a film that's come out after somebody's passed away. It's not a morbid curiosity. It's just like, there's an Alan Bates film that came out years after he passed away. I need to watch it because he's Alan Bates and he's great. Shuttlecock is a spy drama, is the best way to sum it up. It is a modern film, but it reminded me of the feeling I got when I would watch things like the TV show Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, or films like Gorky Park from the early 80s. It isn't a spy movie that's kind of like Jason Bourne or James Bond. There are some explosions in Shuttlecock, but it is not No Time to Die or Moonraker or anything like that. There's no jumping across balconies, no fight scenes in close quarter corridors like there is in the Bourne movies. I love the Bourne movies. I love the Bond movies. But Shuttlecock is more whispers in the back rooms, looking at paperwork, secret conversations, or clandestine going on things. The film itself starts off in 1986. We are at an event. I'm trying not to give any plot details away because I didn't know them when I went in, and I enjoyed the film so much more for it. So I'm going to be very cagey when it comes to the plot. Starts off in 1986. There is an event. two relatives start having a conversation with each other, and then it sort of flashes back to the 60s where we see Alan Bates, who plays a major. He's also a spy, and the film itself sort of jumps backwards and forwards between the 60s and the 80s, so like 86. It is very easy to follow, so you're not like, which time period it in, what's going on. It's not one of those films. I've seen those movies, and they can be a little bit confusing. It's a very simple film to watch, but it is a film that you need to watch. It's not the sort of film you're going to sit there and play on your phone. Although if you're renting or buying a film, why are you watching it whilst you're playing on your phone? Put your phone down for 1 hour, 45 minutes, and just chill. Just take a break from the digital screens and watch a digital screen movie. I get it, but just put your phone down. The film is a really good film. If I say it's slow paced, some people will say, oh, so it's slow then. No, it takes its time delivering the story that it needs to deliver. I mean, it's slow paced, and I mean that as a compliment. It doesn't feel a need to just rush into everything. It doesn't feel a need to explain everything to you as if you're an absolute half-wit. It demands your attention. It deserves your attention, and it's a really good spy thriller. Like I say, it's a modern film, kind of. I'll get onto that in a minute. But it has the feel of the classic spy movie, and I love that. I haven't seen a film like that for many, many years. Like probably Gorky Park, or something like The Falcon and the Snowman with Timothy Hutton and Sean Penn, or the TV version. I mean, possibly Slow Horses. Maybe I've only seen a few episodes of Slow Horses. I've seen some of the episodes of season 1, but it's kind of like that world. It's the world where you can believe people are doing dead drops and leaving notes in trees and cracking safes and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, Slow Horses is probably, from what I've seen of the show anyway, is probably a good comparison to Shuttlecock. So I do recommend it. I think if you sit a 12-year-old down to watch it, I don't know whether they're going to enjoy it or not, but if you sit an adult down who is okay with spending an hour and 45 minutes with a story unfolding in front of them, then it's great. It is great to have seen Alan Bates in a role that I hadn't seen him in, so that was quite nice. It's another Alan Bates film that I've now watched. I'd mentioned the fascinating production, and it is a fascinating production. I think filmmaker Andrew Piddington, round of applause, Andrew, round of applause. He is a guy who I may try and track down and get him on a podcast just so we can spend like an hour and a bit talking about Shuttlecock. Because Shuttlecock was originally screened in 1991, right? So that's like a quarter of a century ago, give or take. It was nearly 30 years ago, to be fair. It gets a screening on Channel 4 once, I believe, and it gets shown in a few cinemas in France, according to the information that I've got on the internet. Andrew then decided, do you know what? I don't think this film's finished. I'm not quite happy with it. To whatever regard, I haven't spoke to Andrew. I would love to. It's a fascinating story, and they could write a book on the making of that, I'm sure. So he decides the film's not finished, and the film just kind of vanishes. So 1991, Shuttlecock just disappears like a spy in the night. And then there are reshoots in 2014. Now, the information I got on those reshoots is from the end credits of Shuttlecock, because it shows like a post-production unit 1991, and it gives all the people who helped film that. And then it goes into 2014, and it gives you another list of people who did all that. So you're like, okay, so you went back like in 2014 and reshot a whole bunch of scenes. Looking at the running times, I found out that the original running time back in 1991 was 1 hour 25, give or take a few seconds. The running time for the film I watched last night was 1 hour 45. So we're looking about an extra 20 minutes or so that was that was added. There may have been more stuff that was reshot It's just the running times are 20 minutes different from 91 to 2014. So reshoots in 2014. The film is then re-released 6 years later in 2020. So that's a lot of years since 1991. I couldn't tell when I was watching the film last night. I mean, I knew that there were reshoots, and I knew that the film had taken so many years to come out, but I couldn't really tell where the seams were. And that is a big round of applause to Andrew Piddington and whoever else helped, piece this film together after the fact. Because you kind of think if you shot something 30 years apart, or even 25 years apart, or however, you would be able to tell the difference in technology or the camera styles, or you would be able to see the seams. I couldn't really. I didn't sit there with a magnifying glass looking for them, but I did sit and look to see them whilst I was watching the film, and I couldn't. I'm guessing the bookend stuff, so it starts in 1986 with two relatives meeting at an event, I mentioned that, and then gets to the end where that, I suspect that maybe some of the newer stuff, I think the bookends maybe new, but for the life of me, I couldn't see where the seams were, so well done, Andrew, on that. A huge round of applause again for your persistence on that. I mean, I was shooting a short film probably like 5 years ago that just didn't get completed due to various reasons. I don't think I'm still going to be sitting here in 25 years going, do you know what, I need to finish that film. I don't really have that level of dedication. I would probably have thought, you know what, I'm just moving on. I'm really glad that Andrew Piddington didn't move on, because now we get a film that has the legendary Alan Bates in it that can be seen. It will hopefully go quite wide. The title Shuttlecock may confuse people. You may think it's like a follow-up to Wimbledon or Challengers or something like that, but it's not. It is a British Cold War spy drama. Really, really good performances. Lambert Wilson's really good in it. Alan Bates is, of course, really, really good in it. And it's just, I really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it. And that's what I love about what I do with the YouTube and with the TikTok and stuff, and watching movies and being able to mingle with some filmmakers online, is I get to discover some of these gems that, you're sitting there, you boot up your Netflix this morning, you're probably not going to see Shuttlecock on there. You boot up your Apple Plus, you may not see, in fact, you won't see Shuttlecock on there. But if you want a really good spy drama that's got such a crazy but wonderful production history behind it, I would just jump onto Prime Video and throw the £4 down to rent Shuttlecock. I think you can buy it for like double that, well, maybe a little bit less. So about £8, I think you can buy it. So for those of you who do like your spy dramas and you like to watch them again and again and again, or if you're trying to be an Alan Bates completist, then definitely jump onto Prime. But it's definitely worth a rent. I had a blast watching it. I wasn't sure going in, because you're like, well, this film's taken like 30 years to make. And surely I'm going to be able to tell, and I'm going to be able to see the seams. Nope, couldn't do it. If I didn't know the backstory of the film, I wouldn't get any indicators that this thing has taken longer than any other film to come out. So a huge shout out to Andrew Piddington. Well done, sir, for completing the film. I would be fascinated to go back and watch the original version that screened in 1991, just to compare. I have no doubts that the new one is better, but I would just be very interested to go back and just to see the differences on what you've created now compared to what you thought was unfinished back then. So maybe at some point I'll be able to watch it. But I'm glad that I've watched Shuttlecock Director's Cut on Prime Video. So that's my film recommendation of the day. If you like good films, you like good performances, you check out another Alan Bates performance. 2 thumbs up to Shuttlecock.